Okay, thank you. Well, state leaders facing challenges from schools to the overtaxed healthcare system.
The governor is likely to face some tough questions from the legislature this week. Craig Sandlin with the State House News Service joins us with that. The oversight hearing we've been anticipating is finally happening, Craig, on Tuesday. Good morning to you, and what should we expect?
Good morning, guys. Well, I think we should probably expect one of the low points of his time in office for Governor Baker. He and Human Services Secretary Mayor Lou Sudders are going to appear before an oversight panel, and obviously the legislators have a lot of questions, as does everybody. Why? How did this happen? The return to school this week. What is going on between the expired tests that schools received, the substandard masks that schools received, the way people are standing in line? If you have a social media account, it's not going well out there. And this hearing is going to be occurring during the cold that AJ was just talking about. I mean, the high is going to be 8 and people are going to be standing in line waiting for these tests. So that's all to say that both Baker and Sudders are going to have a lot of explaining to do on Tuesday.
Standing in line and waiting for a test on Tuesday would be very tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Still no sense there. They might be rethinking the administration's statewide school policy, no return to remote learning.
No, there's no indication of that. I mean, I do think if they make allowances, it's going to look like the Boston model, where Mayor Wu is talking openly about closing even on a spot basis now, and opening, staying longer in the summer. And that's really more a response, not to the raging case numbers, so we got those. It's a response to the disruption we're all seeing. I mean, schools are having a hard time for the same reason flower shops are having a hard time. If people aren't sick, they're quarantining or isolating, and it's just causing the effects we're seeing everywhere. So, and I will say, as a longtime sort of follower of the State House, I will point this out. If the lawmakers are really that serious about mask mandates, remote learning, all the things that we hear them talk about, they can pass a law and require those things. Send it to the governor, he would veto it, and they could override the vetoes. They've got the majority. They don't do that because you hear it from some legislators, but the leadership is not really in favor of that. And they know that ultimately parents and employers are not really going to countenance remote learning. But, lawmakers can't simply say it's all the governor. If they wanted to do those policies, they could do them.
Okay, big day Tuesday with that. And big news from the office of the Suffolk County DA, Rachel Rollins. Just as she is leaving the office to become U.S. Attorney, she's opening a criminal investigation into whether managers at the T could have done more to stop the Green Line crash. Why did she do that at the last second?
Well, I think mostly because she did everything big, and she did this big too. I think that she wanted to make sure that that case was in process when she left. And frankly, it gives a great political issue to the person Governor Baker, appointed as her successor, Kevin Hayden. If he wants to make a lot of this case, and if he wants to run in November, he's got a terrific issue in that case, frankly. And Rollins was very clear. Governor Baker, I want you to appoint somebody who's going to continue the dramatic changes that I've been pursuing. Whether he did that, whether the governor did that, remains to be seen. And obviously, ultimately, it's up to Kevin Hayden.
Okay, and Craig, are we finally going to hear from Maura Healey about whether she's in for the governor's race or not? It's really the number one topic right now, isn't it?
It really is. Honestly, it's all anybody's talked about. I mean, there is that, and are the Republicans really going to run, a pro-life, mildly pro-insurrectionist Trumpist for in this state, in this year? So you do hear that, but mostly it's when is she going to announce? Not even if, when is she going to announce? And frankly, for those of us who might be getting a little tired of this talk, there is a hard and fast deadline, and it's February 4th. That's because party caucuses, where delegates to the state convention are chosen, February 4th starts those caucuses. If you want to be on the ballot in those caucuses in cities and towns all across Massachusetts, and she does, you have to have announced. So, frankly, I've been amazed, absolutely amazed. It's gone on this long, and the way Team Healey has really quite skillfully played the suspense game. But that's the thing about covering politics. You never know when you're going to get amazed next. It's always something new.
Okay, thank you, Craig. With cold weather, great time to stay inside and watch the indoor sports of politics. We'll keep an eye on all of those issues this coming week. Craig Sandlin with the State House News Service. Have a great rest of your weekend.
You too, guys.
8:23.